Hey, everybody. It's John Halpin, Ryan Fowler. Welcome to the Week 10 Tuesday edition of Pickwatch Live. Both of us, we stopped our eyes from bleeding after watching Cowboys Titans last night. Poor Jason Garrett. What do you think? What's the Jason Garrett prognosis here?
It can't be good, right? I mean, Jerry Jones did a pregame interview with Lisa Salters and basically explained the rationale behind trading for Amari Cooper, the number one pick and everything. And it was basically saying, we went out of our way, we overpaid to get you a target to kind of spice things up within the offense. And it's really interesting. You don't have to be an uber NFL fan. All you have to do is go to Twitter to figure out the feelings of a fan base towards said team. And last night, the Cowboys' hate by their own fan base was as evident as ever. I mean, between Scott Linehan and Jason Garrett, those guys shouldn't be around too much longer because, again, they made the move for the quote-unquote star receiver, give them a vertical threat. And, again, he scored the first touchdown of the game. But so much Zeke on first down really starts to wear people out, it seems like, especially the fans of the Cowboys. And the protection on Dak was not there last night. Again, you got to give a lot of credit to Tennessee's defense because that's what really sparked what happened the rest of the game after that 7-0 hole. Yeah,
it was ugly. The Titans, I don't know. We're going to talk about that a little more later. But I every week they're one of those teams that I say I can't figure them out.
No, and I've said the same thing.
Yeah, I struggle with them. Mariota actually played well. He threw that horrible. He had that one horrible overthrow. Corey Davis could not have been more open in the end zone.
Right.
But it's one play. I thought he played kind of well. All right. Looking at the way things have gone, last week was brutal for me. Good for you. Brutal for me, pick-wise. You were 9-4 straight up, 8-5 against the spread. So you're at 70-58 for the season. I was 6-7 straight up, 4-9. 4-9 against the spread, Ryan. So I'm 63-67 for the season. So I'm underwater. This has got to stop, right?
There was a leaky bucket there. You took some chances.
Sunday.
You took some chances. I thought.
And what happened is Sunday, the late games. I'm going, all right. I think these games are going to bail me out. And then Russell Wilson threw that pass, and it got tipped. And
did it get tipped? I still am. I need more video evidence that it got tipped.
I think it did a little bit.
DJ's got to catch that ball.
Yeah. Who else? I thought the Rams were going to bail me out. And in retrospect, that's the one. It's easy to look back and say, I wish I could have had that one back.
Sure.
And I think part of it was beginning of the week. I'm going, is there an underdog? Come on. No way. But that was just the perfect storm for the Saints to win, even though it wound up being a close game. Like, what was I doing getting cute picking the Rams? My normal MO in a situation like that is, even though I've been saying, hey, maybe the Rams can go undefeated, my normal MO on that is, hey, this team is going to lose somewhere. Where is it going to be? Well, On the road at New Orleans, maybe, John, that could have been the spot for them to lose a game. Just maybe.
So. Right. And again, the heckler fake where he was this close to the first down swung a lot of momentum in that game. And really, I mean, here's the other thing. If you would have told me that Jared Goff would lead the Rams back from 21 points down, I would have thought that to tie the game, no less. I would have thought that they would have been able to pull that game out in the end. If they would, again, you run out of gas trying to come back from that many points. But, man, that was quite an accomplishment in itself, even though it didn't matter to the gamblers at the end of the day.
All right. On the standings at NFL Pickwatch, you know what? We're going to do a little screen share, Ryan. Okay.
Awesome.
Hang on one second. Let me get the expert against the spread picks. There we go. We're going to do a little screen share with my desktop. I've taken all the offensive material off it. And now we're good. Okay. So Ben Bolin still leads 6-7. I think it's 2 bad weeks in a row, but he built up such a big lead. He's still ahead of everybody.
I think it's 3 weeks in a row.
76-53.
Yeah.
Right behind him, Gary Gramling from MMQB, Jamie Eisenberg from CBS. So, hey, cool new feature, by the way, in case you didn't see it last week or over the weekend. So I'm going to click on Jamie's name because we like Jamie. We can click on his name here. And we're going to see his lifetime record against the spread, his record in 2018, 2017, 2016 for as long as he's been picking here on NFL Pickwatch. So really cool stuff. Really cool. Showing the development team that added last week or so. Check that out. And actually, there's another thing that Sean promoted over the weekend. You remember I joked earlier in the year about how I picked the Browns more than anyone?
Yes.
So there's a feature now where you can do, I'm going to look at Jamie's here. Here are the teams you've picked best, and here are the teams you've picked worst.
No.
So over
really
lifetime,
nice.
Jamie is 64.1% when picking the Colts against the spread.
Very cool.
But on the other end, he's 15 and 25 when picking the Redskins against the spread. So if you ever wanted to dig that deep, you could. It's a really cool feature.
Well, it would just be Tennessee Titans as my worst team because I have no idea who they are. It would just be in font size 72 on the worst teams.
All right. You know what? I'm going to see, while we're here, I'm going to see who our best and worst teams are. I want to see if your hypothesis is correct. So
I can't be good with the Titans. I can't. That I think of.
Let's see, folks. Okay, so I'm typing in our names in the filter, right? I'm clicking apply. Pretty simple. Now it's going to default to Ryan and me. So Ryan, we're going to click Ryan's name. We've got Ryan's picks.
Bottom teams.
Okay. Bottom teams, the Browns.
The Browns.
You're 2-5-2 picking the Browns.
And they're actually, well, they were okay against the spread. I got them right this week. I picked the Chiefs +8, so that's funny though. Whoa, look at the Colts.
Colts.
It's burying me.
And the Giants, my New York Giants. How about that?
That's pretty funny.
All right, so now we are going to go, and here's your week-by-week record, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some pretty cool stuff. So you can dig down. If you have favorite people who pick here, this is a good way to kind of see what they've been up to, how they've done lately, what teams they pick well, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so now I'm going to go back. All right, when I hit the back button, I kind of cleared the filter, so we're going to go one more here. There's me, not doing well, as we said. So against the spread.
Oh, that's all time. That's lifetime. So go to that 2018 tab.
That's lifetime. No, I'm doing lifetime here.
Oh, you're doing lifetime. Okay.
17-7 when picking the Colts.
Look at the Colts just carrying both of our franchises.
And the 49ers. This is actually right, because I was joking early in the year that I was all over the Niners.
Right.
I think they were better. And I was pessimistic about the Chiefs. This would prove it. Look, my Giants, I'm up here again. Both of us picked the Giants well.
Well, yeah. All we had to do is fade them, right? I don't know what the Giants against the spread record is the last 2 years, but that's pretty funny. And
Right,
nobody,
so, yeah.
and if you go to the top, one of your worst is the Chargers. Nobody knows what to make of the Chargers on any given week.
Right. And for this year, I have been the worst picking the Dolphins and the Niners. But
Titans.
the best.
Titans.
See, Titans. There's the Titans. See? But I do have a beat on my hometown Carolina Panthers, apparently. So, all right, we're going to get rid of the screen share. But those are some of the cool things you can do on NFL.com. So you should check it out. Yeah, year-by-year results. Make your own picks. Track everybody else's, all that, as you know, if you're following already. We've got more than 1,400 fans making their picks there every week. So, by the way, the straight ups, Tom Rock from Newsday was 11-2 against the spread in week 9. He led the way. Good job for him. For the straight up, Dave Richard from CBS leads the way at 94-38. You, Josh, and I'm 29th. You and Josh are tied for 38th, where we need to pick up the pace a little bit. I mean, I'm 7 games out of the lead, and I'm in 29th place. So it's not insurmountable.
It's bunched. It's all bunched.
Yeah. As far as the fans go, Lang Yoakum went 11-2, still leads the way at 96-35. That's the best record on the site, straight up. That's better than the experts, better than everybody. As far as against the spread, Birds SB52. Come on, really? An Eagles fan leading the way? All right. So Birds SB52 leads to 75-51. It's a pretty good record. That stands up with all the experts. Okay, before we move forward, he's at Freelance Fowler on Twitter. I'm actually Halpin37. You can also tweet us at Pickwatch. Let's get to the Week 10 schedule. Your buys, 4 buys this week. Ravens, Broncos, Texans, Vikings. Thursday night. Now, we're going to do this a little differently because the later week show, most weeks going to be on Friday. This week it might be Thursday night. We're working out the time. But we're going to make the pick here on Panthers Steelers on all the Thursday night games. Steelers by 4, over-unders 51. The Panthers offense is humming, Ryan. This is a good game. This is a really good game between two of definitely the top 10 teams in the NFL. The Thursday night games, last couple of weeks, they've struggled a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Who was last week? I know the week before.
Nick Mullins coming out party.
Oh, right. Nick Mullins. Yeah, we don't want to trash Nick Mullins. The Panthers are playing well. They're playing really well. The offense, they've got a lot of pieces on offense that they like to move around and do different things with. And I know I talk about the Panthers more than other teams and maybe too much, but the offense is playing well. Cam's playing well. North Turner might have been the best offseason addition by anybody, honestly. But other than maybe Khalil Mack. But, I don't know. I'm leaning Panthers because the spread's a little bigger than I'd expect. I think this game could go either way. And when that's the case, I usually take the points. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, I mean, I like what the Steelers did in Baltimore. I think, again, Ben Roethlisberger got landed on by a 300-pound lineman. That never feels great, but he came back because, again, some people on Twitter thought he was milking it a little bit. And being a fan of LeBron James, who likes to milk an injury or two, I think Ben might have been milking it a little bit there. But he did have a 300-pound lineman fall on him. But same thing. It's like the Steelers are clicking. Their defense is much better than what they showed back in September. They're playing on their home turf. And here's the thing. When you look, I like the over in this. I know we have to pick the spread, and we'll get to that. But I love the over in this game because I think, like you said, Panthers offense doing a lot more than what we've seen over the last few years. Curtis Samuel might be the biggest surprise since he's returned because he's getting involved in all sorts of ways, and he's finding the end zone, which is delicious. I really think, though, that the Steelers on their home turf are going to be able to cover the 4. And at some point, I see Cam Newton in the passing game coming back down to earth. And I think that's where you see a reality check where you have the short week, you go on the road, and some of those things that worked out at home, it comes back down to earth a little bit. And I think the Steelers, they're so consistent in their offensive game plan that that's just going to keep moving. The Panthers, this is new territory for them. For this offense to be clicking and for them to just absolutely destroy the Buccaneers, although their defense did allow 28 points, and I think it fits at another quarter, that thing could have been interesting. I think they come back down to earth a little bit. I'll take the Steelers to cover the 4, but definitely the over.
Okay. Yeah, over, by the way. 5 of the Panthers' last 7 have gone over. 7 of the Steelers' last 10 have gone over. Yeah, I don't know. The Panthers on the road, they had that comeback against the Eagles. They lost against the Falcons. And they had the game against the Redskins where they came up just short. They handed over a 17-0 lead on some turnovers. Yeah, Curtis Samuel, you're right. What they're doing is they're the lot of the wide receivers run. There's a lot of misdirection in that offense. It's actually really fun to watch.
It's awesome.
And the thing with Cam, the Steelers defense has perked up lately, right? That's been better. The thing with Cam is his shoulder, which has kind of been a nagging thing with him. He's throwing well. You look at the completion percentage, and it's really good compared to the rest of his career. He's throwing shorter passes and things like that, but he's not throwing downfield much. Like there's something there that's sort of affecting his downfield throwing, which sort of, as well as he's playing, and everybody here, trust me, thinks he should be the MVP, which is a whole, great, a little overboard for me, but
a little bit.
The downfield passing is not there for him. That's the one. That's the one missing link, and that's important. At some point, I think that might factor in a way that we're underestimating right now. But I don't know. Like I said, it's one of those things where just looking at this game, just looking at the numbers aspect of it, I look and I go, I think these are 2 evenly matched teams, and I know the Panthers are on the road, but I'm going to take the points.
Just one other quick note, and then we can move on if you want to. If Ryan Fitzpatrick can drop a 28-burger on them with 2 interceptions, that's where I look at, okay, if Roethlisberger is at home and that whatever injury he sustained when the lineman fell on him and he's okay, what is Roethlisberger going to do to that defense? Because, again, Fitz doesn't even have a rushing game. Or, I'm sorry, the Buccaneers don't even have a rushing game in the top 28. Steelers got a little bit of both. So that's where I'm like, man, the 4 is interesting. If it was 3, I'd probably feel a lot better about my Steelers pick. That 4, we'll see. I do like the Steelers' direction, though.
This isn't one I would go out of my way to bet. I would say
But don't you love the over, though?
Yeah, I do like the over. Because I think they're both the offense. I mean, Connor's playing great, and I think I think I like the over too. One thing I want to mention, by the way, we're making this pick because the late week show most likely won't be before kickoff. We make picks. Josh and I make picks on Thursday. I say sometimes during the Thursday show I might flip this pick. Mm-hmm. Watch the picks on Pickwatch because I actually flipped 2 on Sunday morning, and I wound up 1-1. I went from Bears to Bills. And I went from Ravens to Steelers. So I'm going to make the picks, and I'm going to clarify that more all the time. Between Thursday and Sunday, things changed. I mean, I think the Bears, when I saw that Mack and Robinson were out again, I kind of changed my mind on that one.
See, I changed my mind when Nathan Peterman was named quarterback. I changed my mind.
Right.
That was easy.
So anyway, against the spread, I'm going Panthers. I think Ryan's gonna go Steelers. Okay, Bills Jets. Speaking of the Bills, so the Bills don't know who's playing quarterback yet.
It's always a great sign.
They are hoping that either Josh Allen or Derek Anderson will be ready to play. If not, you will see Mr. Peterman again. Right now, this game is Jets -7.5. Over/under is 37. It's at the Jets. These are two bad teams here. The Jets looked in the beginning of the season like they might be a mediocre-ish team, and they're not. I don't want to beat up on Sam Darnold. He's, doesn't have a lot of help. And he's a rookie, and things will, I'm not, when I see a rookie throw 4 interceptions, I don't go, oh no, his career's, he's going to stink. It's like, all right, he's a rookie. It happens, fine. With this point spread, how much does the calculus change for you? It's 7.5 right now. First of all, 7.5 right now. Peterman plays. Who do you like?
Jets. Nathan Peterman's not a professional quarterback, and
I agree.
They have very little option. However, the Bills have done it more than once this year, where the defense has put the offense in a position where they could cover the 7.5. Man, I'm backpedaling a little bit just because that defense, they have had their moments where they bailed out the offense, especially when Josh Allen was quarterback earlier this year. If Peterman's in there, it's so hard to believe in that. The Jets are not good, and they are very, very thin right now. Man, that's tough. I'm going to say the Jets can cover the 7.5, but I'm saying it biting my lip because that's a lot to ask of an offense that could only imagine 6 points. The Bills' pass rush is better than the Dolphins, and the Dolphins got after Darnold, and that's why he was forced into 2 of the 4 interceptions on Sunday. This is a dog game, but from a betting perspective with that spread, can Nathan Peterman get over the top? Is it a win for Nathan Peterman if he covers the 7.5?
No, it's a great win for Nathan Peterman. Here's the one way I'm looking at this game, because it's Tuesday. There's a chance Josh Allen could play. I'm not a huge Josh Allen fan, but he's pretty obviously way better than Nathan Peterman. He's not a train wreck interception waiting to happen every time he throws the ball. But would you? Part of me wants to look at this game and go, I would like to grab the Bills now, getting 7.5, and hope that Allen plays.
Right. It's an interesting strategy. Yeah.
And the thing is, and if I'm wrong, and it's Peterman, the Bills could cover anyway. Could get under the number anyway.
Right.
So I don't love that idea of them doing that if Peterman plays, but I mean, the Jets are bad too, and the pick sixes are, while they're probably more likely to happen with Peterman, it's not that much more likely compared to Darnold.
Yeah, it's just that the Jets defense could be a Pop Warner defense, and is Peterman getting enough points? Because, okay, the Jets score 6 against the Dolphins in Miami, where I am starting to really become more cognizant of, you go to Miami and it's 82 and humid. Those conditions jack with northern teams, and they really get gassed in those second half. So when you're already trailing and that it's 13-6 or whatever, you're exhausted because you're used to the milder, or not milder, but cooler climates this time of year. You go down there, it's hot and humid. So I'm trying to glean something from the Jets 6 points, and I just keep coming back to, they got Elijah McGuire back. He's going to provide some type of rush game eventually. This was his first game back after coming off a temporary IR. But it's just, who else? Jermaine Kearse? Jermaine Kearse had no idea where he was on the field. He caught a pass out of bounds, and that's their veteran lead receiver. Where is the Jets going to get the spark? Is it going to be a pick six because Peterman makes a mistake if Peterman starts? I mean, we could go round and round on this, John. 7.5 is a lot of points for an offense that is completely in a quagmire right now. I'm changing my pick. I'm going to say no matter what, I'm taking Bills 7.5.
I'm not.
I had to talk through it because that's a lot of, like, where are the Jets going to get enough of a groove, unless it's a pick six off of Peterman, to create separation to cover a touchdown, extra point and a half?
Because I think they could, just because I look at the Bills defense, and as good as they are, I remember I had them against the Patriots And I was going to be right if it wasn't for there are a couple of plays that swung it because they really kept it close. But I look at them and I go, that poor defense, how much longer can they just carry this ball by themselves? At the point they break, and I think against the Bears they did.
Yeah.
But
against the Jets and a rookie quarterback, it's kind of a different calculation.
I know.
Right?
I think Crowell could do well. I mean, I could see this as being a 20-3 kind of game if Peter plays. So, but for now, early in the week, I think I might take 7.5 and cross my fingers for Josh Allen.
I'm with you. I feel it. And again, a lot of waffling there, but you know what? That game's dog garbage, and I bet you not a lot of people are taking any juice on that.
It's terrible. It's really terrible.
Take the under.
Especially if you're a Jets or Bills fan, don't watch it. It'll be too painful. Browns Falcons. So this one's at Cleveland. Falcons favored by 4. So the Falcons have a 3-game win streak.
They sure do.
And I have been bullish on the Falcons' second half chances. Like, I look at this team and I go, their defense is starting to get healthy. They're going to get Deion Jones back next week. And I know last week, I think on this show, I thought he was going to be back in week 9, and that was just wrong. So I apologize. But you look at the 3 teams they've beaten: Bucks, Giants, and Redskins. I like the Falcons here. It's a tough, the Browns, the last couple of weeks, I want to ask you, because you're a Browns fan and an observer, are they falling apart right now? We were cautiously optimistic in the beginning of the season, and things haven't gone as well as we thought. And now I'm wondering, because of the chaos, is this sort of is a free fall starting?
You mentioned in the last preview the Bills defense. When do they break? The Browns defense is breaking right now. I mean, and again, Patrick Mahomes is doing stuff that no other quarterback's done before.
Right.
The Chiefs have a million options, and Baker did some nice things on offense, but that team is still miles away from any chance of competing. And with where the Falcons are right now, and with the options that they have on offense, that spread is small. That spread will grow. If the Falcons are given 4, I wouldn't be surprised to see that grow to 5 or 6 over the next few days, because the Browns, I watched the game. I had it here locally because the Bengals were on bye, and I'm here in Cincinnati. They put that game on out of Dayton. And I watched, and again, my buddies from Cleveland and I were texting, and we texted a few times that the Browns defense quit. I mean, they're just gassed. I mean, they're asked to do so much. I haven't heard Denzel Ward's name mentioned in 3-4 weeks. Myles Garrett, he jumps off sides too much, even though he's done so many great things that first part of the season. The offense, their average yards per attempt is like 3.9. I mean, they're not – they got rid of Gordon. Look what Gordon's doing in New England, and that's a whole different conversation. But they have no vertical threat. Antonio Callaway hasn't made a big play since the Saints game where Tyrod threw it downfield at the end. I mean, there's just so many things going wrong, and there's so many things going right for the Falcons. They roll in this game.
Okay, because I was going to say I was – going to pick the Browns to get the cover here.
I would be shocked. I mean, remember when I said 2 weeks ago there was no way the Browns beat the Steelers?
Yeah.
After watching that game, I realized there's no way that the Browns are going to improve this year against quality opponents. They could compete with the Raiders right now. They could compete with a Cardinals, probably not the Giants, because Saquon would destroy them. But they're not competing with the Atlanta Falcons. They're not even in the same like they're 2 tiers below the Falcons right now.
Okay. Next game, Saints. By the way, over under 51 in that game. Saints Bengals. Saints by 4 at Cincinnati. Over under 53.5. Huge red flag here. AJ Green sounds like he's going to be out multiple weeks, seeing a foot surgeon.
He does not need surgery. He does not need surgery. They announced that last night.
They did. Okay, but he's not playing soon.
No, he's out at least 2 games. They said.
All right, that's a huge factor here.
Yep.
Does this look? You take AJ Green, you look at the Saints, and you go, I don't know if they're the best team in the league, but they're close.
Right.
They're only favored by 4, and the Bengals have been kind of, after a strong start, they've been struggling a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, they got blown out against the Chiefs, which is I don't know how much shame there is in that right these days. But it looks easy for the Saints. Your instinct is to go, Saints only favored by 4?
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, and then you look at it, and we just did a NFC South team on the road covering against the Browns. Then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm taking another NFC South team on the road to cover another 4 points. It's just, you start looking when you're making your picks on Pickwatch, you're like, man, that left side's a little heavy. Like the road team's covering so much. But yeah, I mean, I've watched the Bengals too, because again, they're always on when they're the early game. I'm always locked into that. And they have regressed. And you mentioned a couple weeks ago, Tyler Eifert, you lose him for the year. There's been a little bit of a breakup in connection there. And then you lose A.J. Green, which, again, Joe Mixon can only do so much. And when you look at what the Rams had to deal with the Saints, they had the horses to get them back in the game on Sunday. The Bengals just don't have enough horses, plus their defense. I think if the Bengals could cover the 4 here, it would be some defensive play that did it. And they are coming off the bye, whereas the Saints, I mean, that was an exhausting game, and they have to play 6-7 days later. So, again, there's a couple things going in the Bengals' favor that they are rested going into this matchup. But, man, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Joe Mixon to make up a lot of the missing offense that A.J. Green provided. And where else does it come from? Tyler Boyd?
Yeah.
I mean, there's just like, where are the points going to come from? And I think, the other thing, and this is something I noticed watching that. Did you watch the Rams-Saints game?
Yes.
Yeah. Drew Brees makes it look so easy. I was talking to Amy, and I'm like, watch him move around the pocket and how every route is perfect, and they just drop it in there. Alvin Kamara, little pop pass there. Everything is an orchestra, and I know that's a cliche, but when you watch the Saints offense, Drew Brees has that thing on lock. He should play another 3 years just because that is what Vince Scully was to announcing and broadcasting for the Dodgers. Drew Brees is to running that offense, and I know Peyton Manning got a lot of credit for being Mr. Omaha and running and orchestrating an offense. Drew Brees is better than that. They do not miss much in that offense, and Brees is a surgeon, and that's where I think they blow him out.
He's awesome. I agree. I was trying in this game to make an argument for the Bengals.
Sure.
I was trying to find reasons, and I look at their recent games. I go, all right. I mean, they beat the Bucs. The Bucs came back against them, but they beat you. So they sort of beat them. They were beating them pretty well, and then the Bucs rallied. The Chiefs game you almost want to throw out. They played a good game against the Steelers. I mean, they lost late, but they're close. Yeah, without A.J. Green, I think that changes things a lot. Yeah. So I don't know. I think I'm going Saints here.
But isn't that 4 weird then? Without A.J. Green, that 4 just seems – I mean, so if A.J. Green's there, it's a pick 'em?
No.
Saints -1?
It's a point or two maybe. Maybe. With a receiver, the line's not going to move that much on a receiver, I don't think. So, all right.
Seems like a trap.
Bucs, Redskins. Bucs favored by 2.5 at home. Over-under 51.5. I saw an over-under on Monday of 54.
And I saw it. And so did I. And this game opened as a pick'em, and then the Bucs pushed that line.
The Bucs, the offense is pretty good. I know. I think the Panthers took their foot off the gas the other day. And that's why the Bucs scored so many points. But the Bucs offense is actually good. Even whether it's Fitz or Jameis, the Bucs. I mean, they have weapons. Everybody loves the play caller, Todd Monken. All people who are smarter than me about watching tape just rave about the play caller. The Redskins' offensive line is just decimated. So Trent Williams, I think it's his thumb. He's probably not playing again. They lost both of their starting guards for the season. I mean, this is bad. It's not. Fortunately, they're playing the Bucs, who are sort of Swiss cheesy. But I mean, the Redskins, they were 5-2, and you thought they might have been a fluke, and then the Falcons just went in and wrecked them. By the way, if I had a better week picking on the Thursday show, we cut up the game discussions, and if you go to our YouTube channel and look at the game discussions from last week.
This will be good.
There's there's varying amounts of views on all the games, and there's a whole bunch on the Redskins, Falcons, because Josh picked the Falcons, and I was very much on the fence. I said, I'm picking the Redskins, but I don't feel great about it. And a whole bunch of Redskins fans jumped in the comments telling us we were stupid. Not stupid, but, you guys don't know what you're talking about, and the Redskins are like, who have the Falcons beaten, and why no one's giving the Redskins any credit? Okay. Well, there's your shot, guys.
And again, the one thing, Adrian Peterson has rushed for 90 or more yards in 4 or 5 games this year, and they've played so well. But he's also been held under like 20 in the other 3, and they've been awful. Like when AP can't get going, and that's why this offensive line story is so big, because they need Adrian Peterson to help move the chains, because Paul Richardson went on IR yesterday too. Their deep threat is done for the year, and you can only ask so much of Vernon Davis at 110 years old to go out there and make big plays for you, because if you think about it, Vernon Davis is their best. Well, I know Jordan Reed's there, but you don't hear from him on a regular basis. Vernon Davis, I think, has had more highlight reel plays than Jordan Reed this year, and that just goes to show you how Alex Smith manages the game. But yeah, I think the Redskins are in trouble right now with these injuries. They piled up quick. Yeah,
they really did. And this one, I mean, them going on the road. I mean, they do still have a good defense, and getting last week. Like, I'll confess, I didn't watch much of that one yet. Of the Redskins Falcons, so I couldn't say exactly what happened, and I'm going to rely on smarter people than me before I make my picks this week and go check that one out. But the Redskins defense is still pretty solid. I think the Redskins offense, like I said, it wasn't. I mean, there's not a lot at the skill positions. Peterson can't play if they're losing, because you don't want him playing in the receiving game at all. Right. Chris Thompson, I don't know what his status is for this week. Doesn't sound great again. So I don't know.
You know how the Redskins win this game? Fitz throws 2 or more interceptions. That's how the Redskins win this game. And that's very possible. Yeah. But in Fitz's starts that he's completed, he's thrown 3 or more touchdowns in each one of those games. So Fitz is locked in. And that's funny, because the other thing I looked at yesterday, Peyton Barber, I mentioned the Buccaneers have no rush offense. Peyton Barber's rushed for 80 or more yards in 3 of 8 games this year. In those games, could you imagine if Peyton Barber had some type of consistency there? I mean, Buccaneers are averaging 28 points per game, and Peyton Barber's been missing most of the season. Like that offense could actually get better if they. And again, part of the reason Peyton Barber has struggled is because they have to abandon the run so early and just air it out to make up 14-point holes like they had in Carolina. But there's definitely enough offense there, and I'm taking the Bucs. I would be shocked if I changed my pick of the Redskins based on those offensive line woes.
I think I am too. Yeah. I think the defense could step up. By the way, you and I, we tell people from time to time, remind people that we do fantasy as well. Yeah. And this is such, not this game, but this season is such a perfect storm for the Bucs quarterbacks.
Yeah, right.
Even when Jameis played, I was all over Jameis, because they can't run. And they have great receiving weapons, and their defense is terrible. I mean, it checks every box for putting a quarterback in the perfect situation. Yeah. So
ultimate garbage points.
O.J. Howard stepped up last week and caught 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
I mean, and he's really good.
And it's crazy because Cameron Brate's really good too. So O.J. Howard can continue to create space between him and Cameron Brate. They still have Cameron Brate.
Yeah, what O.J. Howard should do if he wants to get paid on receptions, what he should do is start missing blocks, because sometimes they let him block and not run routes. So he should just start missing blocks so he can run pass routes all the time and catch like 8 passes a game, because he would. He's that good.
Yeah, he is huge.
All right. I was kidding about that, by the way, real football fans. I was talking about mostly fantasy football.
We'll be in the YouTube feed.
And O.J. Howard getting paid. All right, Patriots-Titans. This one, all right, I'm struggling with this one. Patriots are favored by 7. Titans had I would say, an impressive win last night. They looked good. You know what? They looked good in the game in London for the bye too. You know, they probably controlled the game. They didn't win, but they played well. For the Patriots, Sonny Michel probably going to come back. Gronk, we don't know. He's not the same guy anyway. So I'm looking at the Pats, right? And I think your initial observation, because of how inconsistent the Titans have been, you're always tempted to take the Pats. Everybody, the Pats always win. They're awesome, right? Okay. Well, the Pats, they're 2-2 on the road. They got handled by Jacksonville and Detroit. They won wound up to be a close game at Chicago. And they didn't exactly, as we talked about earlier, they didn't exactly dominate at Buffalo either. Like, this is not a team that's going on the road and beating people by 20 points. Mm-hmm. And now they're playing against a team that's probably somewhere in the middle of the pack, and they're given a touchdown on the road. Not me. I'm going Titans.
I'll take the Titans too, and I'll probably be wrong, but I'm with you on this. I think the Patriots, they play down to their competition sometimes, and it's almost like, it's not that they get bored, because Belichick's never going to allow that, but even in the like, and I know it was the Packers, but Patriots should have won that game by 3 touchdowns. And they let the Packers kind of push them around on offense. And there are a lot of arguments for how the Packers could have easily covered the 5.5, depending on when you made your pick. So that Patriots defense, it's going to make mistakes. And that's where Mariota and Deion Lewis had a revenge game. Hold up. They're going to have some opportunities to, again, though, the way that if the Titans start the way they did against the Patriots, like the way they did against the Cowboys, they're not going to cover the 7. They have to get a little bit of a running start there because it like took them a quarter and a half to really get going. The interception in the end zone sparked everything else. It seems like Dak's confidence shriveled up into a ball after he threw that interception in the touchdown in the end zone because there just wasn't a lot of spark after that.
That was terrible, by the way. That was a terrible pass.
It was
like one of the worst passes all season.
It was overthrown and it was in a double coverage. It was interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that you bring up a good point where the Patriots go to Buffalo and it's like, whoa, what's going on here? If Vrabel watches tape on that Bills game, finds some type of theme there that he can implement because that defense is going to make some plays against Tom Brady and that offense. I like the Titans to cover the 7.
All right, me too.
We'll see what happens.
I think straight up, I'd probably lean Patriots, but sometimes I look at that one and go, let me throw one at the Titans here and see if I can, make up some ground. Dolphins, Packers. Packers favored by 9, over under 47.5. The Dolphins have looked, I would say, bad for 3 straight games. And that includes this game this past Sunday against the Jets, even though they won. I know the defense was good, but they're playing against a bad offense. Like Brock Osweiler is still Brock Osweiler, as Mike Francesa might say. Osweiler's Osweiler. Is the Packers here, I like to talk about, and I do this more early in the season, talk about the desperate team.
Yeah.
The Packers are toast if they don't win this game. They are absolute toast. So do they have to step up here? Or do you think they're going to step up here and kind of save their season?
Yeah, just to take one step back, as I was kind of alluding to in the last preview, the Packers driving to start the fourth quarter inside the Patriots 30 before Aaron Jones fumbles, right? So and that game was tied at 17. So they either kicked the field goal to go up 3, or they score a touchdown, go up 7, and they were getting 5.5 points. So if Aaron Jones doesn't fumble there, it would have been very, very hard based on number of possessions left in that game for the Patriots to cover. So the Packers, even though the final score looked a little different, it was very thin line, and it's Aaron Jones's fault basically. But yeah, I think what happens in this week is the Green Bay Packers have their Atlanta Falcons moment, and they get to have it at home. The Falcons did it at Washington, where they're like, we're not done yet. And there's a lot of good things happening with the Pack. The one thing that makes me a little nervous was, like the Redskins, the Packers did suffer some injuries in that Patriots game. Brian Baloga, who's been injured for a lot of his career, one of the offensive linemen went down, and their defensive secondary lost a couple people to injury. One was kicked out of the game for a ridiculous slap to the helmet. And they traded Clinton Dick. So there's some depth issues on defense that could be of concern. But then again, you look at who they're facing, and the Dolphins, they have no oomph right now. And I just think at home. Oh, and the other thing, going back to my weather and my meteorology.
Yeah,
32 degrees at kickoff. It's going to drop into the 20s, and you have Miami playing there. Amazing swing for the Packers in that regard. So a lot of things lining up for the Packers to be able to roll in this game. Yeah,
I think like 38-14.
I love it.
Something like that. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to pick the Packers. Jags, Colts. Colts favored by 3. Who would have thought this before the season? I know it's at Indy. Colts favored by 3, over under 47. So, the Colts, I think, I have used this reference, this description 3 or 4 times already today. Colts are a middle of the pack mediocre team, which is way better than we thought they were going to be.
Yes.
The offensive line is playing well. They probably lucked out getting Frank Reich instead of Josh McDaniels. Luck's playing fine. The defense has not been terrible. And you look at them and you go, I could see them winning, not now. The way the Texans are playing, I don't think they're going to win that division. But I think they're going to make noise, right? However, you look at the Colts here and you go, hey, they're what, 3-4? But the last 2 wins have been against the Bills and the Raiders. What are they?
Well, and again, to steal a theory for you, I mean, this is the Jaguars' last stand too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they need a W, and they're coming out of the bye. I mean, I like the Jaguars in this spot because again, if they're going to find, again, where do you find wins?
Yep.
And you bring up a good point. Colts' quality of opposition is pretty thin right there. And the Colts, again, they went into Washington earlier this year and won in that rainstorm. So there have been moments. Plus, as we alluded to 2 weeks ago, I think Marlon Mack's running well.
Yeah.
But the Jaguars, they had a chance to reset, and this is a Jaguars team that beat the Patriots. I mean, like,
and Fournette, by the way, Fournette's probably back this week.
that's huge.
Yeah.
That is huge. Like, I can't Fournette. But here's the thing: you have to go in thinking Fournette's going to play all 4 quarters, and what's the probability that he pulls that hamstring? Him and Sean Lee running off the field is probably one of my most I can picture them walking off the field with an injury. Sean Lee, poor guy's snake bitten as much as Leonard Fournette. But yeah, if you get 4 quarters of Leonard Fournette against this defense, and I know it's better than what it was assumed, I really like the Jags in this spot.
You do? Okay. I think I do too. And the Colts are 3-5, by the way, not 3-4. But yeah, I do too. I think the Jags. Look, it's the Colts are better than we thought. It doesn't necessarily mean they're good.
Right.
And if they finish 8-8, I wouldn't be shocked.
And I wouldn't be shocked if they won this game. But I think this is where the Jaguars really they had a chance to reset, and getting Fournette back. I mean, that was their whole MO to start the season. Was you get Fournette, you control the clock, and I don't. Again, T.Y. Hilton's a great talent, and Ebron has had his moments. I'm still not overly sold on the quality, the overall quality of the Colts offense.
Yep. Okay. Lions, Bears are at home, favored by 6.5, over unders 45. We're still waiting and seeing on Khalil Mack and Allen Robinson. The Bears the other day, I know they played the Bills, but some of their without Mack, you kind of wonder who steps up. Roquan Smith actually stepped up a bit. He's going to be a player. That whole defense is full of guys who are players. So at home, is this spread low? Like, the Lions are okay, but the Bears at home only favored by 6.5. And I keep saying every week I look at the Bears spread and I don't like it. And it's because maybe I like the Bears too much. But I'm surprised this spread is like this one makes me want to pick the Bears. I will admit that the Lions are a confusing team for me.
They are.
They've played 2 bad games in a row. Right? They just haven't looked, 2 weeks ago was Seattle, blew them out at home.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, they wound up making it a little closer later, but they just got, they got beat up. And this past week they've lost. They just, they had no shot at Minnesota. So I don't know.
Them trading Golden Tate is still a head scratcher to me. I mean, they need Golden Tate to compete. Unless they saw something in Kerryon Johnson that, oh my gosh, we had a running game for 3 games this year. I feel great with the direction of this offense with Galladay and Marvin Jones, and we'll be fine without Golden. I don't understand that move. They need Golden Tate to compete in that division. So it's not the Bengals losing AJ Green for a few weeks, but the Lions need Golden Tate for not only moving the chains, but yard after catch, his speed. There's just a million elements there where I was a little concerned. That being said, I think 6.5 is a little high, to be honest, but I take your point of why you believe it's low. I mean, I see your rationale. I'm not completely selling all my shares of the Lions. I'm going to have to think on this one. I hate to punt, but that Golden Tate thing threw me for a loop because you said you're a little confused on what the Lions are. Well, I thought I had an idea what they were, and then they moved their best receiver out. So maybe I'm bailing on them just because Kerryon Johnson doesn't have enough of a sample size to say, I feel good that they're going to have a rushing game that allows Matthew Stafford to spread the ball around and not have defensive linemen in his face because they're always passing. That's different. Now, Khalil Mack's active, Allen Robinson active. I feel pretty confident in the Bears.
Yeah, I'm generally pretty confident in the Bears in this one. Chiefs Cardinals
Yeah.
at Arrowhead.
Over.
Chiefs favored by 16.5. Over under is 50. Now, see, I should have held this note back from you because I was going to ask you. Looking at the Chiefs,
Yes.
for the viewers, how many games have the Chiefs won? This 16.5 point spread. How many games have the Chiefs won by more than 16 points? You would think a lot, having watched them, put up video game numbers. They won one game by more than 16 points.
Sure.
Against the Bengals. So
can I counter that with one thing?
Yes, sir.
So the Rams were favored by 11 against the Cardinals earlier this year, and the Rams won 34-0.
Yeah. I mean, the Cardinals are not good, and it's a road game.
Yeah.
So actually, I want to check the weather for this one because it's, to your meteorology session.
I know what it is.
You know what it is? Shoot, go.
It's going to be cool. I mean, it's partly cloudy. It's Midwest weather. Wind, no rain. So.
Wind, no rain. Well, how cool. Hold on. 43, it says. All right. Well, the Cardinals have been blown out 3 times. They've lost 3 games by 18 or more. I think the Chiefs cover here.
I do too. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, there was one play in that Browns game where I go, GTFO, and you can Google that on Urban Dictionary. Because what he did was he faked a little screen pass, and because the guy jumped, he literally went sidearm underneath to drop it off to Kareem Hunt. I mean, it was one of the craziest. It was so simple, but you have a young quarterback knowing that if he throws that little lob, it's going to get tipped and batted back to him. So he goes sidearm, and I'm like, if he's making these plays, man, and he's got Tyreek Hill and Kelsey and Hunt and Watkins and Jerry Rice, and he's got everybody out there. It's just, I mean,
Jerry Rice.
Oh wait, he wasn't signed? I thought I heard that during the trade.
Might as well be, yeah.
Yeah. It's just there's so many options, and the Cardinals' defense is so not as good as a lot of people had hoped. There's just no way Rosen keeps pace. David Johnson is having the box loaded up against him, and he's averaging 3.2 yards per carry. David Johnson, this was a number 1 pick a few years ago.
They did get him in. They used him better last week. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his game looks, his usage is great, but they just.
But they got him in space a little more. They threw him the ball a little more. It was a little, when they fired the offensive coordinator, there was a noticeable change, I would say.
Byron Leftwich is a brilliant man.
I love Byron. He was like a softball pitcher when he played quarterback with the big wind up with the arm, like the windmill.
So
all right, so we're both going Chiefs here. I mean, no mystery on this one. All right. Next up, Chargers Raiders. So my buddy Boos is watching again.
Boos is loose.
He's given the Boost lock of the week is the Chargers minus 11. He's telling me the Boost lock of the week is 3-1. The thing is with Boost, maybe that's true. He just picks big favorites every week, which maybe there's something to it.
He picks them to cover though?
Yeah, and he says he's 3-1. I believe he wouldn't, I have no reason to think he's BSing me.
There's a paper trail.
But I'll research it. There's a paper trail, and I'm going to find it later.
Are the Raiders quitting?
Are the Raiders quitting? That's my note. Are the Raiders quitting? I mean, that was an embarrassing display last Thursday.
So let me ask, and I know we're running long today, but did you change your pick when you learned Mullins was starting for the run? So did I.
No, stop. I didn't.
You were already on Raiders.
Yes.
Okay. I was on 49ers just because whatever. And then I hear, Mullins. I'm like, and I'm like,
actually, I did. You're right. I did change. My bad.
Are you sure?
I think I did. I know I was on the Raiders, but I don't know if I was on. I'd have to go back. There's a paper trail, as you said, and a video trail. So
right. So I just was like, I'll just move. And the Raiders are getting 2 points. This is terrific. They stink. Like I was like, look at it, Amy. I go, the Raiders don't even want to play right now. Right. They're letting this guy who graded one of the best post-game interviews I've seen lately because it was real, not canned responses. Emotional kid makes his debut and gets choked up about it. Nothing wrong with that. And you could hear in his answers, this guy studied. It's not like he just sat on the sideline and held a clipboard. This dude was ready. So I think even if he wasn't playing the Raiders, he would have had a successful game. Maybe not to the level that he did, but that dude was ready for his moment. Like he knew, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's a coach at some point down the line. He just has that it factor. But yeah, the Raiders.
Yeah,
I'll take the Chargers and the 9.5.
All right,
I'll wait.
I think so too. I think I hate to say that an NFL team's quitting, but I think they're at that situation like that. I think they're looking at Gruden. They're like, I don't care about that guy.
And again, even if the Chargers chargering, maybe they give up 10 points.
I think they're not charging anymore.
I know, because that was a huge test against Seattle, and they passed the test. I watched a lot of that game too, and I'm like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And yeah, Seattle made it close late, and they gave up a ton of yards. And Seattle held the ball for 35 minutes in that game, and they didn't cover and they didn't win. 35-25. That's how fast the Chargers are scoring these days. Imagine how fast they're going to score against a Raiders team that doesn't really want to play for right now. They just want to get to the end of the season.
All right. No Joey Bosa news yet, right?
I just wait for you to tell me. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, it's like Le'Veon Bell. I'm like, there's just not a note about him on a regular basis. So it's like these things, when Joey Bosa's ready, that thing's going to be, you're going to hear that.
Yeah.
Even if you're not on social media, you're going to find out about it pretty quick.
All right. By the way, in that game, the over-under is 50.5. Chargers Raiders under. 13 of the Chargers last 19 are under. 12 of the Raiders last 15 are under.
I'd take the under.
Just saying. Seahawks Rams. Rams favored by 10. Over-under 51.5. Rams have played 2 tough games in a row. They had that late win against the Packers. They had that loss against the Saints. The problem with the Rams is their secondary.
It's terrible.
I mean, Talib hurt. Peters is just bad. That play when Michael Thomas beat it looked like a helpless rookie, and he's just not playing well.
Right.
But this seems like a spot where the Raiders might come back. By the way, Rams. 1-4-1 against the spread in their last 6. Mm-hmm. They had a couple blowouts early, not as many lately. But you would think after the last 2 weeks, the Rams might come back, sort of breathing fire a little bit here, and their weakness doesn't get magnified in this matchup because the Seahawks like to run so much and their receivers are not that great.
You just hit the nail on the head. To piggyback on that thought, because when you think Seattle, you don't think, oh, what a great passing game, right?
Yeah.
So, and then Chris Carson, Chris Carson had a great start against the Chargers, and if he would have played that whole game, Seahawks might have had a chance. He missed most of the last 3 quarters with a hip injury. Keep tabs on that, because if they don't have Chris Carson, they probably don't have a shot, because you need that balance to allow Russell Wilson to have time and a million other factors that go into having Chris Carson, who had run. Man, I hadn't looked at his game logs in detail. I did yesterday. That guy's having a nice season too. So it's just Seattle snake-bitten running backs, right? I mean, they've went through so many over the last few years. The one thing that when I was digging into the Rams yesterday, when they play a quality opponent, would you consider Seahawks offensively a quality opponent? Maybe not a world beater, but a quality opponent.
Sure.
Okay.
Quality, yes.
When the Rams have played quality opponents this year, Saints, and I'm going to blank on every other team, they've allowed 31.5 points per game. That defense has allowed against their top 5 matchups. Oh yeah, Packers, Vikings were in there. They've allowed in their 5 toughest matchups, they've allowed 31.5 points per game. The reason their points per game for the season is 22.6 is because they held the Raiders. And I think the Bills was another one. They've held horrible teams to like 10.5 points per game. Right. So you put Seattle in there and you give them 10, it's hard not to believe that the Seahawks find a way late, because Russell Wilson's going to have that fourth quarter mojo that he's known for. They might not win, but 10 points is a lot to give a quality opponent against that defense.
Yeah, and their defense is good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence on this one, honestly. I'll decide on Thursday or Friday, but this one I'm not willing to go there yet. I think I'm going over here. Okay. But all right, Cowboys Eagles. Jason, we're talking right now. I'm talking 10 o'clock Eastern on Tuesday. Jason Garrett still has a job, right?
I don't have Twitter open, but I bet you if Twitter was open on your screen, you would know right away, because it'd be the top. Well, actually, it'd be go vote and then Jason Garrett fired.
Yes, everybody go vote.
Yes.
And no, my first 6 or 7 tweets they're all about voting.
No, there you go.
Yeah. No, Jason Garrett. Nope. No, nothing. Okay. Well, Jason Garrett's still employed, but it's early in Dallas.
Scott Linehan scored first, probably.
This spread, so the Eagles by 6 at home, over-under is 43.5. So the Eagles, I think coming off the bye, maybe they get a little healthier. Maybe they're getting a little better. I know they had the rough game against the Panthers a couple weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, whatever it is now.
Yeah.
This spread seems low.
Yeah, I agree.
The Cowboys are just not that good. I don't know what's Sean Lee's status? Do we know?
I mean, he left the game yesterday, and when he leaves games and he pulled up, they literally called it out. Oh, Sean Lee pulled up there. He's usually out 2-3 games.
He will be out a while.
That's at least
the
a month.
report is. So
they fill him in with Vanderbilt
Sunday against the Eagles. I know the Eagles are struggling. The Eagles are struggling to run. Josh Adams ran well last time. This spread just seems really low. I'm looking at this and going, Eagles, easy.
Yeah.
You probably see 3 games or 4 games on the slate every week, and you know what you're going to do. I know what I'm going to do here.
Yep.
With 6. I'm going to make that pick early so the spread doesn't go up because I think it might.
Yeah, Eagles people will hammer that. They're going to especially the other thing you have to remember, when these point spreads move, you get emotional betting too.
Yeah.
People are emotionally moving the line. Actually, you know what? That Rams line opened, I believe, at 8. And Rams people are like, oh, there's no way. They're way better than that. It moves to 10 because emotional Rams backers move the line.
Remember, we're less than 2 weeks away from Rams Chiefs on Monday night in Mexico City, where the over-under 63.5. I'm going to remind everybody that every time. Yeah, I'm going Eagles here. Over. By the way, under 13 of Dallas's last 17 are under. 4 of Philly's last 6 are under. The over-under here is 43.5. I think might sound about right. I think this could be a 24-7 kind of deal.
Sure.
Yeah, or 31-7. I think the Cowboys are in a little trouble. Last one, Giants Niners Monday night. My God, who wants to watch that?
Awesome.
Niners are favored by 3. Over-under is 43.5. A team with Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham is getting 3 points from the 49ers on Nick Mullins. We're not sure. We're not 100% sure Mullins is going to start. I mean, we think he will, but Shanahan hasn't said so yet, right? We'll probably know tomorrow.
Right, usually Wednesdays.
I don't know. These teams are terrible. I mean, they're just bad. The Giants are the thing is the Giants have lost some close games. Some look closer than they were. But the games against the Redskins and the Falcons, the scores got close late. Like they scored a touchdown with, 10 seconds left. But I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at this team and I'm going, they're going to lose to Nick Mullins on Monday Night Football. Is that like it? He's a third string quarterback. I think part of it last week was it sort of brought out the Kyle Shanahan being a great play caller thing. I mean, Nick Mullins was throwing to wide open guys.
Wide open. And
it's to your point, he's supposedly a film geek and is very prepared. So he knew what he was supposed to do. So it was it was a good match against the team that stinks. This one, the Giants defense has kept him in some games. This is not, it almost looks, does it look easy? Maybe it's me being a jaded Giant fan thinking they're so terrible, but does it look easy?
I mean, I kind of like the Giants. I guess, how much does losing Eli Apple change what the defensive secondary is of the Giants?
I mean, he's good. He was pretty good. He played well this year, actually. Because
this is, I mean, now that the Giants have real life tape of Mullins, people make adjustments. And the Giants, like you just mentioned, are not the Raiders. I don't think the Giants as a team have quit. I do think the Raiders as a team have quit in many areas, and I don't think they like their quarterback a lot that much. And I think still Eli's teammates like him, because you're not getting Lada out there right now. He's got a little bit of trouble. So it's one of those things where you get a little bit of tape on Mullins, you make adjustments, because that's what we do in the NFL, and the Giants could win this game. I think the X factor in this is how good is the 49ers defense, because they have moments where you're like, wow.
They do. They have talent.
Yes.
I mean, there's first round talent. Reuben Foster's status is going to be a big deal here, I think. I mean, I thought it was going to be a big deal last week. And, whatever, that didn't matter.
Because what happens is Eli falls into the trap of allowing the other defense to make him look horrible. And they're not that bad. It's just Eli's line is his line, and how much of a pass rush do the 49ers get on him? Because Saquon Barkley could go out there and have a monster game, and that's where they win. Because all they have to do is win. And I think right now the Giants win that game.
All right. I'm leaning that way. but we'll see how the week goes. I don't know. It's hard for me to pick that team on the road.
I understand. Nick Mullins can make a huge statement of where he is as a possible NFL quarterback in this game. I mean, literally, there's more pressure on Nick Mullins in this game than anybody else.
Nick Mullins, 2019 Giants quarterback right there.
Nick Mullins could get paid based off.
But he's young, so he can't get paid, unfortunately.
He's going to buy his time. Bide his time. He's going to make Jimmy Garoppolo an afterthought.
Dude, if he has another good game, the Niners should trade him for a second-round pick immediately.
They should.
They really should.
Yeah.
If they could, to a dumb team like perhaps the Giants, but we'll see. I was saying last week, I don't know if I was with you or someone else saying, I can't decide if the Giants quarterback next year is going to be Nick Mullins or Derek Carr. I'm betting on Derek Carr.
Gotta have a name. Gotta have a big name.
God. All right. We miss anything? We're good. You're right. We ran long. We should wrap this.
Yep.
All right. Find us on Twitter. Ryan's at Freelance Fowler. I'm at JHalpin37. The main account is at Pickwatch. You can make your picks at NFLPickwatch.com and track everybody else's there with all those tools that we showed you about in the beginning. If you didn't catch us at the very beginning of this episode, check it out. We got a lot of new tools at NFLPickwatch.com, so please go check it out. Josh and I will be back. We're not sure if it's Thursday or Friday. We'll let you know on Facebook or on Twitter. This show, by the way, if you missed some of it, you can watch it here on Facebook. You can always watch our shows on Twitter. Not on Twitter, on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe. And the Thursday show gets chopped up into individual game discussions. So if you would like to see Josh and I at the end of the week go into 5 minutes on Giants Niners, God bless you. But you'll be able to do it on our YouTube channel. All right. So I'll be back with Josh later this week to take a look at all the Week 10 games. For Ryan Fowler, I'm John Halpin. Thanks for watching Pickwatch Live.